My dad has taken on the challenge of managing Birmingham City, and I have given him 3 very challenging challenges to complete and only 10 seasons to do so. The first is to win 3 domestic cups, including the Carabao or FA Cup, which is going to be very difficult considering where Birmingham finished in the 2nd tier of English football this season. And the next may be even harder, as Dad has to win the Premier League with Birmingham City. The third and final challenge is to win any of the 3 European trophies. As I said, 3 very difficult challenges for my dad to complete considering he's at one of the worst clubs in the Championship. But he's already off to a cracking start, so let's see what he's cooking up. The first thing Dad did was sell Jordan James to Fulham to boost his transfer budget, getting him £7.25 million for him, as well as selling Sunčić to Bristol City for £1.6 million. And I think he spent the money well, first bringing in Tyrese Campbell from Stoke City for £5 million, who also started well in blue, scoring 4 goals in 4 games so far. And he brought in Luis Travis from Blackburn Rovers for that midfield for £3.2 million. And in typical Omega Dad fashion, he kicked things off with a 4-2-2 formation, with both Campbell and Travers coming into the side in starting positions, and so far it's been a good start to the season. Yes, including a massive 2nd round win in the Carabao Cup against Premier League side Chelsea, who did have a slightly rotated side, but still starting the likes of Cole Palmer, a massive win for Dad. So let's see how he gets on in his first season in charge of Birmingham City. Dad, first season, and I think you'll find, yep, playoff promotion.
Big surprise, man. All I set out to do was try and stay in this league.
Yeah.
So, and to beat Ipswich, well, we know how well Ipswich done this season, so...
Very much overachieved.
Really
Southampton went up as champions. You finished in 6th place, dropped down to 6th place because Ipswich actually overtook you on the final day of the season.
Yeah.
But the playoff semi-finals, you defeated Leicester 5-3 on aggregate. Going into the final, Ipswich beat Hull City, and then obviously a 3-0 win at Wembley as well.
Really pleased with that.
A massive result at Wembley.
Yeah.
Jay Stansfield got one, Miyoshi and Luis Travis scored the goals at Wembley, so that's fantastic. Premier League in the first season.
Hey, Wayne Rooney, who's he?
Yeah, not too bad. So, FA Cup 4th round exit by Brentford, 4th round exit by Arsenal in the Carabao Cup.
Yeah, my main interest was trying to stay in the league and build, but obviously I've got in the Premier League, so I've got a bigger problem in my hands now.
This is goals for later on, because
yes,
of course in the challenges you've got 3 to try and win. Now, Tyrese Campbell was your signing for the season. It was a good one. 20 goals that he got you this season. Luis Travis was the other one. He also performed quite well. But going into the Premier League, how much money have you got? £35 million with a very generous wage budget.
Really pleased with it. We've done other teams and got less than that, haven't we?
Absolutely. Yes, so in one season, Omega Dad lifts the Championship playoff trophy, and it's on to the Premier League for Birmingham. And he started season 2 bringing in 2 players for his favourite position. Freddie Woodman from Preston for £3.3 million, as well as Alex McCarthy as a backup on a free transfer. In the heart of his midfield, Dad brought in the experience of Katrawak for £4 million. And at centre-back, 3 new faces joined the club that will really improve the quality he had in there already compared to his first season in the Championship, and all for the combined total of £22.5 million. A few other guys signed just to bolster the squad depth, but there is a change in the system for season 2, the first in the Premier League, because Dad has adopted a lovely narrow diamond formation with 4 at the back, with the width being provided from the attacking fullbacks, mainly in Laird and Williams. And Birmingham's first game back in the top flight went very well as they hosted West Ham at St Andrews, and despite an equaliser from West Ham, they still come away with a 2-1 win and all 3 points. Although Dad was brought back down to earth with a humbling 5-0 loss to Liverpool, but overall 2 wins from 4, and you would absolutely take that at the start of the season. However, can they keep it up across the whole season and survive the first in the Premier League? Reminding ourselves, of course, that Dad has a lot of difficult challenges he needs to complete and a lot of trophies to win. Dad, survival on the final day.
I was sweating, I must admit. Oh, I'm just pleased I've stayed in the league. That's the main thing. I can build on that, but it was looking dodgy. I just kept on coming down and down and down. I think, oh no, don't.
Relegation zone 2 games before it. The final game was a 2-2 draw against Fulham.
Look at that.
That's what kept you up.
February. I didn't win a game from February.
You were also 2-0 up in that game. So you almost chucked it away badly, but somehow you got a point more. Bournemouth lost on the final day of the season and went down because your goal difference would have just sent you down. You'd have been back relegated. What I am curious with is there are no goals in this team.
No,
Miyoshi is the top scorer there.
That's a bit bad, isn't it, really, when you look at that?
Cup competitions, though, maybe you've won a cup? No. 5th round of the FA Cup by Sheffield United. 4th round, again, I think, by Arsenal. So nowhere near in the cups just yet, but that's always got to be something that you got to keep in mind because you got to win 3 of them in your 10 seasons. But for now, I think you're doing the right thing. I mean, Tottenham won the league this year. Look, you're doing the right thing by just focusing on staying up in the league. That's the main thing.
Got to build on that now.
Yeah, but as we say, there's not a lot of goals in this team at all now.
That's really bad, isn't it? Really, really bad.
Yeah. Do you think it's possibly the tactic or the players? I mean, your tactic went to a narrow diamond there.
I was just trying to keep it tight, really, but that tactic obviously didn't work for me, so here we go. Okay,
and then trans budget for next season, £43 million to spend elsewhere.
I need a striker.
You do. So the first man through the door was a pacey hitman in Antoine Semenyo, who cost just £6 million from Bournemouth, as well as bringing in Brozier on loan from Chelsea and Oscar Estupinian on a free transfer. A great signing being brought in, I feel, from Jefferson Lerma to give legs in that midfield, and the tenacious midfielder joins Birmingham for £11 million from Palace. But Dad's biggest signing was Lewis Cook, who again instantly improves the midfield, but cost Dad £20.5 million. But is he signing too many squad players again, as Ahamada is another midfielder he's brought in for £7 million, as well as Yannick Vestergaard, who doesn't have any pace for a 33-year-old, and another £4.4 million spent. What was needed, I felt, was a keeper, and Dad brought in a good one for £4 million in Andrada. Some players did also leave the club as well, some players that weren't first teamers, which is a bonus, and Dad has changed to his favoured 4-3-3 narrow with a target forward in the middle. And you can see why he goes to it, because results have been good, including a lovely 2-0 win over Spurs, with a hilarious second goal being scored. And they were very unlucky against Manchester City, leading the game 1-0 majority of the time and only pegged back from the penalty spot. So it's a good start to the season once again, and Tyrese Campbell is scoring goals. And goals is exactly what Dad needs to progress up the table and challenge for trophies. Season number 3 then, Dad, is a 15th place finish.
I'm on the up.
Yeah.
That's the main thing. I mean, I wasn't even in danger this season, so I'm pleased with that. 11 points clear of it. But I'm still sweating a bit on that one.
Yeah, I mean, you're further up from what you wanted to be, but in that second season, you kind of wished you were...
you want to be around
exploring the mid-table.
Yeah, sort of pushing for it now.
Which, by the way, I mean, Spurs won the league last year. They've dropped down to 13th. That's the biggest fall from grace I think I've ever seen.
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
With Manchester only just above them. But yeah, 15th place, 41 points. You're 10 points even clear of Southampton, where you finished last season.
Yeah.
And last season, obviously, you finished on 35. So
a bit better.
It has dropped off a little bit there. Goals-wise, you didn't have anybody in like the player statistics. But did you score more goals, or did you win a cup competition? Probably not, because we've seen that. It was 5th round by Tottenham, 3rd round by West Brom. So those trophies, still not even getting close yet. Goals-wise, though, 15 from Tyrese Campbell. At least it's double figures.
Yeah, I mean,
he
is my main striker as well. He done well for me in the Championship, so hopefully he's got a bit of a kickstart again, and he's going to go for it this season. So.
Semenyo's a bit of a weird one, because he scored quite a few at the start of the season, just hasn't really scored since. He's only got 5 goals throughout the whole season, but there we go. That's, something maybe you need to look into again this summer, where you've got £58 million to spend.
I think it's getting to the stage now where I've got to start buying better players from a position now.
Yeah, I agree. All in all, a decent season, but it's time to take the next step now for season number 4. The clock is ticking. However, this is a transfer window I was hoping to see, starting off with David Martinez, who is a quality attacking threat picked up for £34 million from LAFC. A really good centre-back too was brought in with a lot more pace, which was needed in Dad's back line, for £42 million. Emil Ordero is another improvement in goal for Birmingham, coming in for less than £10 million. However, Serge Aurier might be the only questionable buy, but he cost Dad just £3 million. But the last signing is a free transfer, and it's the winger, Alan St. Maximin. so it will be interesting to see how Dad fits him into the side. But it's a complete change up in shape, and I actually like it. A classic 4-2-3-1 using new wingers, and just one up top, which looks like to be Campbell for now, but it started very well for Birmingham. And considering the difficult run of teams at the start, picking up a win against Aston Villa and a draw so far isn't bad at all. A top half finish this season has to be the target. But picking up a domestic cup would be a great leap towards the challenge of winning 3 in 10 seasons too. So was the money well spent this summer, or will Omega Dad be accused of wasting the millions spent? I mean, it's progress again. 13th place.
Slowly coping up. So I'm in way off relegation there, 49 points, so I'm getting better each season, but I wanted to get just a little bit better. I was hoping for 10th or something like that, around that area. Sort of pushing for the top, sort of 6 or 7.
Dropped off on that final game. You were in mid-table. You win that final game, you do actually go up into, 10th place, actually, in fact. Well, 11th place. Tottenham from wherever they were, back into the top of the league. Weird, isn't it? How that happens, but there we go. Yeah, it's kind of progress, Dad. But it's just
not great progress,
not enough progress that you need. And also, there's nothing next to your name there. No cups again. How that semi-final? We've finally got to a semi-final.
Disappointed. Yeah, it's getting closer there. So just had a big as United, didn't it?
Yeah, but those 3 challenges so far, you haven't been able to take a step.
I ain't got anywhere near with them.
Not
so
at all.
I'm getting a bit worried now, to be honest here.
Goals-wise, 14 for Iliev, 9 for Tyrese Campbell. That's dropped off. What I will say, though, is your squad depth is low. Wow. We do not have a lot of players coming on here.
I try to concentrate on just buying players that I knew would be in the first team, but obviously I had to sell quite a few players to get the money as well. So I could be, if I get a couple of bad injuries, I'm in trouble, aren't I? So
absolutely. You got £52 million next season, so they're still backing you with money. I think you just maybe need to take a season away from signing the best players and just make sure you've got enough players. I feel Dad could be in trouble here, and progress may be halted because of the lack of options. Let's see what he does next summer. However, I was even more worried and thought my dad was taking the mick when I seen Dad's first 2 signings, especially McTominay. And outside of a needed backup keeper, that's when the money stopped and free transfers and loans began. Top of the list had to be Thiat, who is an unbelievable signing, and a couple of good wingers on loan who offer great options, but how do they line up? Well, Dad, or as I've now started to call him, the Tinker Man, has of course changed his tactic to a 4-2-2 formation, with Soon Bell leading the line with Campbell. And although the first game of the season was a loss at the Etihad, the next game my dad would have been jumping for joy at, because a 5-1 win against Arsenal is just what the doctor ordered, and the start of the season has been full of goals too. So is this the season that we need to see to progress, because we are now at the halfway point of the challenge? Now this is better.
This is better. I mean, that's a big jump, really.
You were around the top for a while. You even flirted with it later on in the season as well, but a strong finish. Good finish. 6th place. 68 points as well. Only 2 points away from Champions League football. You're in the Europa League next season.
To me, that's just done me a big favour, because I think you get too big too soon. It's too much, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I've got a chance with this team doing something, I think. So
Tottenham back down to 11th after winning the league again. That's mental, isn't it? But either way, you've got European football next season, and not in the hardest competition, which means you've got to crack at winning a European trophy, which 100%. Is one of the challenges I did set you. The other ones, of course, is to win 3 domestic cups and the Premier League. Close to the Premier League, domestic cups is something that we need to have a look at.
I mean, there's just no way I'm gonna win a Champions League, is it? So
no,
this is probably my chance.
Certainly not in these earlier years. No. Maybe you get to year 10, and there's a possibility. But okay, let's see then. Competitions. Have you managed to win a domestic cup? You have. It's the first one, and you were close in the FA Cup too. Semi-final. That would have been lovely. A knock off 2 out of a 3 in one season. Yeah. But a Carabao Cup 2-0 win against Brighton in the final.
I'll take that.
Yeah, that's a lovely win. Beating Burnley en route. You beat Newcastle 4-1. Semi-final, knocking out Liverpool. So you knocked out some of the big teams. Defeated Brighton in the final. Very good stuff.
Yeah.
This looks a lot better. Now, the only trouble is, obviously, your top scorer is a loan signing. With 21 goals, Mark Mahoney. He was very good indeed for you. But Tyrese Campbell, he's very on and off, isn't he? Hot
Yeah,
and cold
definitely,
striker.
Yeah.
19 goals
the other guy there,
Sustat Bell,
that's my
free
new striker.
transfer.
Yeah, that's a good
17
signing.
goals. The other signing that you made there, David Martinez, getting a good account of himself in this first season in the Premier League. All in all, it's a good season.
I'm pleased with this season.
It's definitely something to build
That's where
on.
I wanted to be. So I've got myself there now. Now it's just staying there now, isn't it?
Exactly.
And then going for the other cups.
Squad depth looks a lot better too, as what we've seen from last year.
Yeah.
And you got another £57 million.
Being consistent. So
Yeah.
thank you very much. I'll take that.
Of course, it's Europa League football that you got to worry about next season.
Playing Thursdays.
Yeah. Huge season for Dad. A trophy towards the domestic 3 he needs, and qualifying for the Europa League as well. A chance to knock off another challenge. What a summer Dad had too, kicking it off, bringing in the very talented Harvey Elliott from Liverpool for just £12 million. Followed by an even better signing in Claudio Echeverri, an outstanding player, and get ready for this, for just £3 million. That's all Dad spent in bringing him to Birmingham. And in comes the new gens with this versatile defender that's been picked up to play anywhere across the back line from Auxerre for £16.5 million. Finally, the Freak. Freak Janssen, another young defender with bags of potential, and the most that's ever been spent this summer, £35 million from PSV. The Tinkerman is up to his old tricks again, but understandable when a player like Echeverri comes into the team, but neither defender makes the strongest 11. Horrific performance at the start of the season though, as Tottenham, who have been great so far in the 5 years or so, battered Dad 4-0. But outside of that, the team was cooking and the system was working well, beating Manchester United 1-0. And all in all, it's been a good start to the season, but looking at the Europa League fixtures, and Dad definitely has some difficult league phase matches to qualify through to the knockouts. So with a massive season in front of him at Birmingham, can Dad keep them high in the Premier League with Europe as a distraction? Another improved season!
I'll take that, mate.
4th place!
When you look at the teams below me.
Yeah.
Hey? Oh, I'm happy with that.
I mean, that was the same tally, if I'm right, last season, but a position higher, of course, or a couple of positions higher, into the top 4 now. Champions League football next season as well.
I was never going to catch the teams above me.
No.
So I was never going to get in the top 3, but
no. Sustat
that.
Bell was the first guy, I think, in your team to actually finish the top 3 of the player statistics.
Freebie as well.
And a freebie. He was very good for you this season. He's developed quite well as well. Nice pace, acceleration, good finishing ability. Very good indeed. But your first year in Europe, would you have qualified for the Champions League anyway? No. Oh, it's a semi-finals across the board. So no European trophy as of yet.
The teams that beat me as well, though.
1 out of 3.
I wasn't beaten by rubbish neither. I was beaten by good teams there, look.
Yeah, and Tottenham.
Set myself up for that one.
You did. You really, really did.
I just couldn't get myself in quick enough to say something about Man United.
Remember, Dad, I'm always faster.
Yeah.
3 semi-finals, though, Dad, which is annoying in terms of the challenges that you set, but it's progress in terms of that ultimate Premier League one, which arguably I think is harder than winning a European trophy for Birmingham.
Yeah.
Because winning the Premier League, sometimes we always said you can kind of flute your way to a European trophy, but the Premier League, you have to be good across the whole season.
You've got to be the best team of the whole season, isn't you? That's the thing, isn't it?
Jude Sustat Bell got 28.
Yes,
Echeverri, what a signing, by the way.
Yeah.
Props to you for that one. The development, again, is amazing.
Yeah, only a young lad as well, so...
23 goals, 13 assists. And David Martinez also putting in a banger of a season there, 16 and 20. Of course,
really good now.
We've had a lot of different tactics. Will you keep the same one this season? And you've got... Again, pretty much the same budget every single year.
I'm going to take it, though. I'm happy with that.
Yeah, you can't argue with that.
No.
Champions League football next year, £56 million to spend. So an unbelievable season for Dad, but no trophies to put towards the challenges going into season number 7. No doubt about it, Dad needs a big summer, seeing as there's only 4 left. Well, first of all, McTominay leaves the club, as well as Alan St. Maximin too, for another £6 million. Dad also shipped out Ethan Laird, who had been starting right back for him for $10 million. But the first signing in is notable, because for £20 million a defender with the same name as my dad's dad, my granddad, Barry Robinson, has joined the club. Although my granddad wasn't from Northern Ireland, still, it's a nice sentimental signing. Also from Southampton is Jacob Ramsey, who has developed very well and has signed for £24 million and scored 3 and 3 already. A free transfer strengthens the midfield and a bit of an all-rounder in Nicolo Pasili of Italy. And a more defensive option also joins in Eric Martel, who is absolutely fantastic too in his prime years and cost £26 million from the Bundesliga. Finally, a couple of youngsters from Liverpool, one on loan, brought in for what I imagine is for squad depth. The Tinker Man is at it again though, 7 seasons in, and this is our 7th different tactic. Will he regret the change? Well, so far it's done okay, including a 0-0 draw at the Emirates, but the Champions League is in front of Dad this season, and the games against Barca, PSG and Milan could all be brutal. But I guess there's only one way to find out as Birmingham City take on the 7th season. Okay, this is our first backward step, Dad.
Yeah, it was, yeah. I mean, over the whole season I looked quite consistent. I was there or thereabouts, but just wasn't getting anywhere near. I mean, the top 3 or 4 are quite close to me this time as well. So
yeah. Man City had a runaway season.
Yeah, I just couldn't get anywhere closer to them, so it was a pity, really.
Yeah.
But I'm still pleased. I'm still in Europe. That's the main thing. Still gives me that chance for that European trophy you want me to get.
Absolutely. Just a little bit off of the 4th place spot there. The top 4 getting Champions League football. We don't really seem to have a lot of players up there either.
No.
Cup competitions. Maybe you've won a Carabao Cup because that's obviously just going to qualify you for Europa League anyway. Yes, you did. 2 Carabao Cups.
Hey.
So far, extra time against Liverpool.
Get in.
Semi-final knocking out Blackburn. Quarter-final knocking out Salford. Oh, you had an easy run.
Yes.
But you can only beat what's in front.
That's
4th
right.
round Southend. I mean, look at Dagenham Redbridge. Is that who you played in the 3rd round? Nottingham Forest on penalty. That's your oddest one.
Yeah.
So there we go. Semi-final against Brighton, though.
Yeah.
That's the team you beat last season.
Yeah, disappointed there, but I'll take it. I've got another cup in the bag, so...
Champions League, you were actually knocked... Oh, you got through to the playoffs, just scraping by that. Into the knockout playoff round, knocked out by AC Milan.
Yeah.
So you can't really argue too much about that. Inter and Real Madrid are about to play in the final. But let's check up on the squad. And of course, let's check up on Barry Robinson. He's played 17 games starting, 19 off the bench.
Yeah.
Not bad at all. Scored 2 goals, which is... hilarious that you found a player with your dad's name.
I had to guide him, didn't I?
Yeah, I had to bring him in.
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
Good player as well.
Yeah.
20 goals from Jacob Ramsey, though. That's not a striker. That's a centre attacking midfielder.
Good signing, though.
But, all right, we'll have to see. Next season, will there be a new tactic? Who's going to be the new names? We've got just slightly more than £60 million this season. 64. But I guess when you go down to roughly what Dad's been getting, you actually get a good wage budget.
Yeah.
So probably, again, 50 to 55 million pound to spend in the summer. So it's another trophy to add towards the challenge, one remaining in terms of domestic cups left. However, I am rather concerned going into season number 8 about the European trophy as well as the Premier League. In my opinion, Dad needed a new striker to score more goals, but instead he spent a lot of money on Barco, who plays all the way down the left-hand side. As well as picking up a young centre midfielder who, to be fair, is elite and instantly becomes one of the league's best midfielders, but did cost 80 million from Stuttgart. There's also a new number 1 in the sticks for Dad as Trubin signed for Birmingham on a free transfer. That's a good deal. And another centre-back comes in who's Japanese, signed from Porto for 15 million. Dad then relied on loans for the rest of the window, including the only striker he brought in and the only one big name going out for £30 million in Ellertson. Season 8, and it's the 8th different tactic. So guys, if you want a Tinkerman t-shirt, let me know down in the comments because we need to make some kind of merch from this, surely. Again, points dropped 2 at the start of the season, but I'm sure Dad has his eyes on that Europa League trophy this season. Well, will the 8th tactic in 8 seasons help Dad lift a European trophy this season? Let's find out. Oh dear, oh dear.
Going the wrong way.
We are going the wrong
go back
way.
down there again. That's a lot of points as well away from it. 43 points.
All that money spent.
Yeah.
And I did really feel like you needed to bring in another striker. Money was spent elsewhere.
Yeah.
World-class midfielders came in. Don't get me wrong. World-class left midfielders came in. And he did very well.
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
But I think
the midfielder I got in was really good, and I thought I'll just rely on the strikers I had. I brought another youngster in, and I'm building for the future, but yeah, I just didn't score enough goals this season, I think. So that's what it cost me, really, didn't it?
All right, let's have a look at the cups. Okay, Carabao Cup, 4th round exit
against
Southampton.
Disappointed with that.
No cup wins there. You only need one more, remember, as well.
Yeah.
And it was a 5th round exit in the FA Cup.
That's the one I really want to win as well.
Yeah.
I want to win the FA Cup. That's my favourite cup. So
Yeah.
I want to win that one.
Yeah, you've only won 2 of the Carabao Cups. I feel like even if you did win 3 Carabao Cups, you'd still be like,
I'd be disappointed.
Oh, that's annoying.
I'd be really disappointed.
Yeah. But there's one more trophy that you were involved in. That was the Europa League. How did you get on? Well, you went all the way and won and saved your season. Probably your job too. 2-1 win.
Come through and scored the goals as well.
Yeah, Susnat Bell. I mean, you say young. He's 27 now.
Yeah,
but
I bought him as a youngster, didn't I?
Sebastian Sanchez, I think, is the guy that you had on
Dad
loan
as well
from Man United.
Well.
Yeah, Barry was on the pitch. Look, he got himself a yellow card. Typical granddad. Played at Hampden Park there, 2-1 against Gladbach. Great win that. Let's have a look at how you got to the final. So the league phase there, you topped the league phase. 8 wins from 8. That's absolutely fantastic. Straight into the round of 16, knocking out Braga there. Into the quarterfinal, knocking out Nice. Lovely stuff.
Yeah, good win that is.
Semi-final, the big club, Juve. You needed to take a big name
Get
on
him
the way.
out of the way.
Yeah. Overall, Dad, that was actually salvaged your season.
Yeah, I mean that made it a good season for me. Really, where it could have been a bad season. So I'm pleased with that. Got the European trophy in the bag. So
yeah, that is a challenge completed.
Yeah.
It's just the Premier League now, and you've got 2 seasons to do it.
Yeah.
And 1 more domestic cup. Let's have a look at the squad though. 20 goals from Susnat Bell. Still think you really need a striker.
To win anything like the Premier League, you need 2 strikers in 25s above, I think.
Yeah, you've also got a couple of players who are really underperforming. Echeverri knocked down a very good average rate in there.
Yeah.
David Martinez has dropped off a little bit from where he was. But you've got £69 million no wage budget. So, yeah, again, 56. Yeah, your classic. They know exactly what they're doing. They've got that plan straight away. So, all right. Let's see what you do this summer. Well, after an absolutely horrific league campaign, that Europa League win might have saved not only the challenge, but definitely Dad's job as Birmingham manager. But this was the summer Dad stepped up and put big names in Birmingham's dressing room. Starting off with the biggest name he did bring in, Victor Osman, who at 32 might have lost a bit of pace, but he's still a fantastic striker, which Dad spent £49 million on, which was the same price he also sold Nicolo Pasili to Arsenal to 2 seasons after a free transfer. While we were on the outs though, I was disappointed to see Echeverri leave, but Dad got a huge profit from selling him to PSG. Harvey Elliott also moved to Atalanta after developing well for £45 million. And Eric Martel went to Lazio for the same price he was bought for. But back to the transfers in, Dylan Boyer joined, a fantastic ball-playing defender from Lens for £41 million. Probably to partner up with Zabarnyi, who moved from Everton for £55 million. We could also see a strike force of Victor Osman and Youssoufa Moukoko, as he was another arrival for £32 million. Sasha Bowie was a questionable one though, not because of his ability, but more in the fact that Dad spent £48 million on a 30-year-old right back. Romeo Lavia comes in as a defensive midfielder for Birmingham this season and at a hefty £75 million, which was required for his services from Juve. The last of Dad's transfer budget was spent on Lucas Roman, who can play in a number of different positions, that was purchased for £25 million. Although there were 2 more free transfers in Vicario and Samardzic as well. Season number 9, you guessed it, it's a change of tactic. The Tinkerman this time adopted a 4-4-2 diamond with an attacking right side, some big names on the bench, but still a rather small squad in general. After winning the Europa League, Dad played the Super Cup against PSG but took a 3-1 defeat. However, it's 4 wins from 4 in the Premier League so far, and the Champions League fixtures are in, including tough games at home to Real Madrid and away to PSG. So can Dad capitalise on that good start and possibly go on to challenge for a Premier League title? Oh, back into the top 5.
I'm pleased with that.
Yeah.
Pleased with that. Get me right back into it again, but I brought in some really good players for this season, didn't I?
You did indeed, yes. Yeah. Some big names come in. I mean, Victor Osman there with the most goals, 29 goals. But
he's show, look, 29. Yeah, he's still banging. When you're banging in 30 goals, mate, you're going to start getting positions like that again, isn't it?
Yeah, okay. So he's done very well. But yeah, that's fantastic stuff. 70 points, just 2 points off of Arsenal ahead of you. You had a bad end of the season.
You think if I'd won a couple of those games, I would have been pushing Newcastle and Man City?
Yeah. The profile of the league, you can see Victor Osman did get 19 goals. He was 3rd there. Victor Osman also had one of the highest average ratings, so that's not bad. What about the cups? You need another cup.
Yeah.
And if you haven't got it this year, You've only got one more season to do it. Oh, it's another semi-final exit in the Carabao Cup.
I fancy that. We're Crawley in the semi-final.
Yeah, get on Crawley. Well done. From League 2.
Yeah.
Jesus.
That's when you wish you were playing Arsenal then, wasn't it?
Yeah. Chelsea beat Arsenal in the final. Quarter-final, you knocked out Newcastle as well. Fourth round. I mean, I can see Crawley. They're knocking out some Premier League clubs here.
They've done well.
They knocked out Shrewsbury in League 1, but in the quarter-final. But in the fourth round, they're knocking out Wolves. You were knocking out Brentford 5-2 there. Okay, FA Cup, though. It's an early one in the FA Cup.
So disappointed. But then I've got Man City who just won the league.
Yeah.
You know, when you come against Man City in the Cup, you just think, oh, well, that's that one gone, isn't it?
Yeah, you beat Bolton from League 1 in the third round, but fourth round got a bad draw there, unfortunately.
Really, so.
However, you were in the Champions League. We might as well check to see how you've done. Birmingham City! Champions League winners!
Birmingham.
Wow, that is insane.
Champions League winners. Birmingham.
They can finally,
PSG.
they don't now have to listen to Aston Villa fans go on about
go.
being European champions all the time. PSG in the final 2-1. How can you not win an FA Cup or a Premier League? But you go on and win the Champions League.
The strikers in to do the business field, mate, and they do the business field.
Unbelievable. Let's have a look. Victor Osman and Moukoko, the two guys that you mentioned, both of them scored in Vienna. Lovely stuff. Oh, that's fantastic. Let's have a look.
I couldn't believe it.
You finished the top 8 as well, so you qualified quite nicely. Won 6 of the 8 in total, beating Real Madrid. Beat Rennes as well.
Yes. You got to win your own games, mate. That's what does it, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Lost to PSG, who you eventually beat in the final. Into the round of 16, you knocked out Manchester United 6-4. Very tight game. Quarter-final, knocking out Juve again. They don't like playing you.
Twice, didn't I?
Yeah, and semi-final, knocking out Real Madrid for the second time. 7-6. Huge
2 games that was, eh?
season. Wow, that is a big step
4-2
going into the final. But what I will say is that wasn't needed.
Oh, no.
You need a Premier League. You need an FA Cup.
Yeah,
It's a lovely Brucey bonus, though.
Definitely, yeah.
Victor Osman with 29 goals, 20 for Susnut Bell, 19 for Moukoko, and 30 for Jacob Ramsey.
You just got to put that little star there above the badge.
Yeah, that's it. But can they go on and win the Premier League and possibly an FA Cup as well? They've got £50 million. Oh, he's stopped.
Oh, no,
he's gonna go
I've
down.
just won the Champions League. I'd expected that to be around the 100.
Yeah. All right. Well, you got one more season left. So after an amazing season lifting the Champions League trophy, can Dad finish the challenge in the final season by lifting the Premier League and one more domestic cup? Well, to give him the best opportunity, Dad was raising funds, selling players for big profit to improve the first 11. Although Tobias Arendt wasn't a player that Dad tried to sell, but a release clause was activated, unfortunately. But it did allow him to bring in the world's best talents, such as Diogo Herculano, a Portuguese right-back from Porto, for £69 million. And Kieran Mukstravic, a Northern Irish left-back or CDM that cost Dad a whopping £105 million from Leeds United. As well as a number of young or cheap talents to support these first-team players and keep the squad looking healthy in case of injuries across the season. But the Tinkerman didn't let us down with a 10th different tactic, going for the 4-2-2 variation in his attempts for success this season. And so far it looked promising too, with 4 wins from 4 in the Premier League, a loss in the UEFA Super Cup to Villa though, as well as some tricky fixtures in the Champions League. So it's the final throw of the dice to complete both challenges and lift the Premier League and another domestic cup for Birmingham City. Has Omega Dad built a strong enough side to compete for both in this final season in charge? Yes! The Premier League!
The whole season, mate. Top of the league.
Top of the league throughout the whole season. Won it by 6 points ahead of Manchester City, champions.
And we lost 3 games the whole
Birmingham
season.
City. And those 3 games were Newcastle, Man City and Manchester United. You drew 6, but you got the job done with 93 points. You can't ask for much more than that.
Oh, thank you.
You have got one more challenge left, though. You still need to win another domestic trophy. Osman and Makoko both got a lot of goals up there.
Yeah.
Makoko was also there for the highest average rating. Trubin even got a good amount of clean sheets. Let's have a look at those cup competitions, though. Well, away from it again, you only just missed out on winning back-to-back Champions Leagues.
I mean, Real Madrid do what Real Madrid do, don't they? They come up against a great team
Final
like
against
Birmingham and
Real
they
Madrid.
beat us 3-1.
Unlucky. I mean, the league phase, you went through actually on the playoffs thing there. So you lost against Barcelona 8-0. Wow.
Got to write that right now.
Yeah. Drew to Real Madrid and Atletico Madrid. And then you beat Rennes again, so I'm happy. And then into the playoff round, knocking out Ludogorets. You had an easy draw there, really. Round of 16, knocking out Milan. So
that's a payback.
Yeah, I was just about to say. Porto, obviously you stole their best player this summer.
Yeah.
The unbelievable right back that you brought in.
Really good.
6-3 on aggregate there. Semi-final beating Manchester City on penalties. Both Mancunian clubs getting knocked out in the semi-final.
Not only did I do them in the Champions League, I've done them in the league as well.
Yeah.
Get in.
And then lost in the final 3-1 to Real Madrid. But this challenge rides on whether you won a domestic trophy. Well, it isn't the Carabao Cup. Because on penalties, you lost to Arsenal in the fourth round.
Yeah, early doors out of that one.
Oh, but did you win the FA Cup? You did!
Against Arsenal.
Against Arsenal.
Even better.
2-0 against Arsenal at Wembley Stadium. Dylan Boyer, 78th minute. Susnat Bell on the 83rd. You did it, Dad. You won the FA Cup. You beat Man United in the semi-final at Wembley as well. Everton in the quarters. What a season that is. Almost winning the perfect treble.
So close.
Unreal. Goals-wise, 25 and 25 from Makoko and Victor Osman.
Yeah, that's what
Lovely
you need to win
stuff.
these things.
Absolutely. But some of the players that you've got now, man. Herculano. What a player that we mentioned there. Kieran McStravic, again, a cracking player. And £53 million it had to be. For anybody who wants to take on this save game file, it will be on Patreon or on the channel membership page. Click on that now. Take over Dad's Birmingham City save and see what you can do in the next 10 seasons with this side. Absolutely. Let us know, and thank you for your support on there. And if you're wondering what to watch next, Dad did a very similar challenge like this without me around, where he took on the Glory Hunter Challenge. That's on screen for you right now. Go click it and watch.